All right, so get this today. We're diving into the world of social entrepreneurship, but like with a twist.
Yeah.
Our source today isn't like some fancy report or a slick website or anything like that.
Huh?
It's an old-fashioned letter.
Wow. You don't see those every day anymore, do you? A
Oh,
letter.
I know, right?
Especially to like resellers, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like a window right into the heart of a company at
Right.
like this really pivotal moment for them.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it such a unique deep dive,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's not just about like the businessy side of things. It's like about the people.
Yeah,
It's about the challenges that they're going through. It's the why behind what they're doing.
totally. And speaking of challenges, it sounds like they've got their hands full.
Yeah.
This letter is from Carl Van Blerk.
Okay.
He's the founder of Garden Route Food Pantry. Okay.
Which is this South African company that makes these things called food socks.
Food socks.
We'll get into what those are in a bit.
Okay.
But first, I got to say, this letter grabbed me from the get-go.
Yeah.
It's so personal. It's so transparent.
And that's what we look for, right?
I know. It's awesome.
That real honesty.
And speaking of challenges, Carl and his team have their hands full.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
This letter paints a picture of a company just riding this wave of success, but really struggling to keep up.
That's such a classic problem, though, right?
It is.
That growing pain, but then you add this whole other layer
Yeah,
of a social mission on top of it.
exactly. So let's rewind a bit.
Okay.
Carl starts by describing this like totally unexpected surge in demand for these food socks.
Okay.
And it turns out they were featured on KikeNet. Now, for our listeners who don't know,
Yes.
KikeNet is a huge African's television channel.
Yeah. Very popular in South Africa.
So this is no small potatoes. This is a big
Huge.
deal.
So it's like they hit this sweet spot, you know,
Yeah.
the right product, the right message, the right audience.
At the right time.
But then, as Carl describes it, the onslaught begins.
Oh, no.
The phones are ringing off the hook.
Oh, my God.
Emails are flooding and social media is blowing up.
It's every entrepreneur's dream and nightmare at the same time,
But
right?
totally.
Suddenly everybody wants what you have, but like, are you ready for it?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's where the rubber meets the road, because it's not just about taking these orders.
Right.
It's about fulfilling them.
Totally.
And Carl, he doesn't sugarcoat the difficulties they're having. He talks about struggling to find factory space to rent, securing enough raw materials.
Wow.
Even a broken generator halting production of the packaging for a while.
Oh, no.
It's a mess.
And these are the details that you don't think about, right?
No.
Like, that's the stuff that as an entrepreneur, you have to have figured out beforehand.
Totally.
So like you said, rubber meets the road. That's when it's like, oh, shoot, do we have these systems in place?
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
And I bet these are not problems that he thought he was going to be dealing with so soon.
Right.
This unexpected success,
Right.
it turned into this whirlwind,
But
like
with-
a whole other set of challenges.
Absolutely.
It would be easy to like totally freak out, right?
Oh, yeah.
If this was me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? But what's so interesting is that Carl never really wavers in this letter.
Okay.
Like, you can tell he's under pressure,
Right.
but there's this like underlying sense of like reassurance even.
He's got this.
Yeah.
But I think it's really smart how he's approaching this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because remember, he's writing to his network of resellers.
Right.
These are people that depend on his business.
They're independent distributors.
So he needs to like keep them in the loop,
Hmm.
manage those expectations,
Totally.
and just reassure them that like,
It's all good.
yeah, we're figuring this out.
We're figuring it out. And I think that's where the letter goes beyond just like totally delicious sticks.
It's about relationships.
It is.
At the end of the day.
Like, he's nurturing these relationships, building trust. And he even says this one line. He says, "We are not here to make money. That is simply a byproduct of the service we offer."
Whoa.
How often do you hear a CEO say that?
Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you read and you're like, are they for real?
Yeah,
But it really speaks to their values.
it does.
Like, they're very clearly prioritizing their social mission over like
Yeah.
just like raking in the cash.
Making as much money as possible.
And that's the kind of stuff that I think consumers really respond to.
Totally. And you can even feel that sincerity when he talks about the delays.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't make excuses or anything. He's just upfront about the challenges
Yeah.
of maintaining this ethical and transparent supply chain,
Right.
which is so important to them.
Totally. And he even calls the delays inconveniences.
Yeah, just little inconvenience.
Like, oh, it's no big deal.
And then he gives a shout out to Alfie.
Oh, Alfie.
I know, right?
Who's Alfie?
I think Alfie is someone on his team who's like burning the midnight oil
Okay, got it.
to get all this done.
Makes sense.
But it's just those little touches that really like
Yeah,
personalize this whole thing.
absolutely.
So we've got like the production bottlenecks.
Right.
We've got resellers wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
And then Carl just drops this whole retail store thing.
Oh, no. What happened?
I know. It's like, just as we thought things couldn't get any more complicated,
Yeah.
he's talking about expanding into retail stores.
Okay.
And some resellers are like, understandably a little bit nervous.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
I've built my whole business around selling this product.
Right.
And now you're going to put it in every store.
Yeah.
Like, what about me? It's a valid concern, right? If
Right.
I was a reseller, I'd be like, hello, what's going on here?
Yeah, you've built this business
Yeah,
around selling this product, and suddenly it's everywhere.
exactly.
That's scary.
And what Carl does that's so interesting is he doesn't dismiss those concerns.
Right.
He doesn't say like, oh no, you've got it all wrong.
Yeah.
He actually like acknowledges it and then tries to reframe it for them.
Okay, interesting. How does he do that?
Well, he's basically saying that, look, having food stocks in retail stores can actually be good for you as a reseller.
Okay, I'm listening. How's that?
It's all about like visibility, right?
Okay.
When people see food stocks in stores,
Uh-huh.
they learn about them. They're like, what is this?
Right.
Maybe they buy one to try it. And then they're like, oh, wow, I love this food sock.
Yeah.
But then they see that you as a reseller are offering it for a better price, or maybe they can buy it in bulk from you. And that's where you have the advantage.
So the retail presence is almost like its own marketing campaign.
Exactly. It's like free advertising for the resellers.
Interesting. And I like that because it's not just like every man for themselves.
Right.
You know, it's like, how can we all work together to make this work?
Exactly. And that actually gets to like a deeper point that Carl keeps coming back to, which is this idea of like collaboration over competition.
Okay.
It's not about like just squeezing every last dollar out of this thing.
Yeah.
It's about building a system that actually benefits everybody.
And that's that long-term vision.
Yeah. And I
Right.
think that's so important because this letter, it's not just about one company's problems.
Right.
It speaks to this larger conversation that's happening about like, what does it actually look like to run an ethical business?
Totally.
How can you balance purpose and profit in a way that actually uplifts everyone?
I think more and more people are starting to care about this stuff too.
Totally, right?
It's not just about like the cheapest product anymore.
Well,
Like people are actually thinking about where their stuff comes from.
reading labels.
Yeah, they're looking at companies and they're like, do your values align with mine?
Totally. And I think that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating is that it's like a case study in a way.
Yeah.
We're seeing how one company is trying to navigate all of this in real time.
And they're being really open about it.
They are. They're not pretending to have all the answers.
Yeah. Which is refreshing.
It is. It's honest, it's raw, and it leaves us with, I think, a lot to think about
Definitely.
as we're making choices in our own lives. Like, what kind of businesses do we want to support?
Absolutely.
What kind of world do we want to create?
It's like food for thought.
It is. And that's what we're all about right here on the Deep Dive.
That's right. Getting those brain juices flowing.
Until next time.